Thank you for joining the 2 Pennies, the 2 Cents, my podcast. I am your host, Nino. First of all, thanks to the man upstairs who will wake me up. Let me complete another day. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you for the blessings that you bestow on me. People, please, click that like button. Keep them subscriptions steady coming. I appreciate y'all. You don't know how much I appreciate y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to my fans, my followers, and my listeners, hey, man, thank you, thank you. Prayers, thank you, thank you. Much love to y'all. Appreciate you guys. I mean, y'all are really intervening now, and y'all are really reaching out and touching me. It's like I'm trying to reach out and touch y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I couldn't do this. What I'm attempting to do could not be nothing without you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you a lot. Comment. I don't care whether it's negative or positive. Comment. I appreciate the negative or the positive because like I always say, I'm not perfect at this, but I do what I do. Today, I'm going to discuss a topic that was chunked at me. And I'm talking about it came out of nowhere. But I have been seeing it as I move through my city, through the United States, through the world. I have seen it. And I kind of fall into this little bracket or this little column of what I'm going to discuss. The topic today is, why do women and men sex drive is higher in their 40s and 50s? Again, let me repeat that. Why are women and men sex drive higher in their 40s and 50s? While there is a global response, some women and men, individuals, are blessed, are gifted, are given with a high sex drive still in the ages of 40 and 50 years old. Though, here is a few indicators such as possibly why. Hormone shifts, reduced stress, and boosted confidence. I'm going to break down the women and the men. Of course, I'm going to go with the women first because I consider myself a gentleman, and I'm always going to conduct myself like that and let a woman go first. Women. Women have estrogen and testosterone just like men. They do that. So once they're in their 40s and their 50s, even though somewhat the testosterone, or I should say the estrogen kind of declines, the testosterone in a woman becomes more stable or it either increases a little bit. So again, that sets a woman on fire because we all know what testosterone can do for a man, but it also has the same major effect for a woman. Testosterone turns you up. It gets that blood flowing. It gets them juices to rolling through them veins. So testosterone is a big part. And again, a woman has testosterone and estrogen just like a man has testosterone and estrogen. Before menopause and menopause, the woman still has testosterone. So many people think when a woman gets to the menopausal period of her life that it will be a declination. She will decline. But as I have seen myself, and as it is facts, women in their 40s and their 50s are aroused. They are much more horny. And they are savage beasts, what I heard, in between the sheets. They surely are. Women are, men too, but women are too. See, this is what I'm going to say, people. And I'm going to use this phrase 2 or 3 times because I don't like to repeat myself, but it is fact. You ever remember that saying, fine as wine, you fine as wine, you get better with age? This fact goes in effect here. You as fine as wine because you get better with age. There are a lot of psychological factors. Reduced tension. Have more forward past. Have moved forward past childbearing and having kids, those type of years. So even they are 40 and 50 years old, see, they didn't have their kids. And they got all that out the way. A lot with having babies is a lot of time a woman can gain weight, and then a lot of time a woman can lose weight. But she didn't got past that because basically 40 and 50 years old, a woman a lot of time in her ideal situation, she done had maybe one child, or she done had two, but basically the one child is almost 18, certified grown, and then if she do have a youngster or a young child, he's about 10 years old. So see, she's 10 years done with the game. So now she can get her body back in tip-top shape. She can still look youthful, and she's very vibrant, you know, also with proper dieting. And as I go out and about, when you check out these gyms and these transformation camps that are AKA gyms and workout places where people go and get their body sculpted and get better, you see a lot of women and a lot of men in their 40s to 50. That'd be the majority that be in attendance. Sure, you have the young 20 years old and 30, but you have women 40 to 50, even some 60. See, them juices are flowing. They keeping that body tight. They stay looking youthful. They eating that proper diet. They done had them babies, so now when they want to kick it and, you know, get down, get their jollies on and everything, they are past the years of worrying about contraceptive and having kids, because a lot of them just not going for the anyway. And then you got to look at it like this. Usually a woman in her late 40s to early 50s, her biological clock done ran down. So she can't have no more kids. I mean, of course, we all talking about sexual desires and sexual pleasures. So we are all talking about, please, practice safe sex. You know, strap up, put a condom on, because it don't matter what age you are, you can always catch some kind of disease, and nobody needs diseases. I mean, you know, you're thinking about people 40 to 50 years old, you know, they will be smart enough to get checked and everything and won't be out there gambling and crap shooting. But it has been shown too by surveys, a lot of people in their 40s, 50s, even 60 years old have STDs or STI, sexual transmitted infections or sexual transmitted diseases that they do. Also, psychological factors too. Now her confidence is up. Like I said, she didn't have them kids, she passed that. She goes to the gym, she gets her body tight. I mean, you know, her arousal level is just like on, you know, 1 million. I mean, it just, you know, a woman 40 to 50 years old, she coming out the gate, she's ready. She's not being hunted, she is the hunter. You know, she's seeking somebody that can satisfy her sexual pleasures. And she really is kind of selfish with it, because she wants her sexual desires and her sexual pleasure fulfilled. So she's also, now, like I say, she's taking care of her body, she's looking youthful. And so we also know with that, a sound body makes a sound mind, just like a sound mind makes a sound body. But her total concentration is, again, getting it in the bed when she have a chance, doing it the right way, mixing it up. But, you know, she's back in the game again. And of course, when it comes to her pleasures and her desires, she got a itch that needs to be scratched, if you know what I mean. Shifting perspectives. Women in their 40s and 50s are less bothered about, as I said, getting pregnant and conceiving. They done did all that. So they already done have the child or children that they have set out to have or they have expired to have. So now, and with that biological clock gone, all they sitting back and thinking about is, you know, how can I get fulfilled? How can I be satisfied? And again, fellas, whether you a guy in your 40s or 50s, or whether you're a young guy or whatever, you better be bringing that to them women 40 or 50 years old. Because I have heard too, through word of mouth, or word on the street, that you get into it and you mix it up with a woman in her 40s and her 50s, and you're not stepping up to the plate. You're not bringing the wood like it should be applied, or you have a short end of the stick, or even if your stick gets elongated the right way, but then you can't go, a substantial amount of time, she's gonna get on you and clown you. These women in these 40s and 50s years old, their sexual drive, and they are serious about getting pleasure and their desire more than women 20 and 30 years old. Because see, women 20 and 30 years old, they still young and they still so caught up in looking beautiful and pretty and going about themselves and trying to figure out what they gonna do down the line in their lifetime, that, it just be wham bam, thank you ma'am, and then they getting on by their business. But a woman 40 to 50 years old, she's official, she's certified. A lot of them, they have a great job, what they have stability on, they've been working a long time, they not worrying about the bag, they got the money, they're a great homeowner, they're a great, they own a nice car, they got stocks, retirement is on the horizon right around the corner. So really, it's a lot stress-free. So they are thinking about one thing. Hey, man, I got to get me somebody that can handle this body and somebody that can fulfill the pleasures that I want. And that's what's up. Now, we're going to shift gears and get to the men. Though a great ratio of men in their 40s and 50s, their testosterone levels seem to decline. Still, many of the men have continued a strong sexual drive. See, when you're a man, as myself, if you already know, we can produce and procreate till we transition on into the next life. It never stops with us. As far as a woman, where she can go, baby, to her late 40s. I'm just saying, we just talking about straight facts and, sexual desires. But I think a lot of why a man libido is so strong when he's in his 40s and 50s and he's 60, because you got to think about it. His sperm count is still strong. It's not declining. That's why you see a lot of older men, 40, 50, maybe 60, in tip-top shape, toned, strong. A lot of time, of course, they're financially sufficient too, but they'll get with a younger girl, maybe say 40, or a younger woman, 35 or 40, and they're able to procreate and conceive with them. Because for one thing, the man never stops reproducing, but then that woman that's in a 35 or 40-year-old range, or maybe even late 45, that still can reproduce and procreate, then that's how it goes down. But usually when a woman gets 50 years old, then, as I said earlier, her biological clock stops and she cannot have no more babies, which is gravy for the woman, because then again, she's not trying to have no babies. She just trying to concentrate on her desires. But that's why I think a man libido is so strong too, because he can go a long time, procreating. Also, it's a fact that one of my listeners had said she is like 32 years old. I think that was Toya. She was 32 years old, and she was dating a man 59. I think his name was James. And first thing I was thinking, I said, well, then, Toya, what's the biggest thing about James? I'm thinking about, well, she really just trying to get in it, because, from what I heard, he has a good job. He basically about to retire, and he got the bag. And she said, I tell you what, that man wears me out when we in between the sheep. He rocks my boat, and he rocks my world. She said, man, he satisfied her so much fellatio-wise and orally, and then again, he satisfied her so much with the penetration. This woman is totally just gone heaven over heels over this man. She worships the ground that he walks on. That again, that's an older man and he's 50 years old or 50 plus, but he's strong. But she also told me when you see him, he doesn't look 59. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink. He works out. I mean, he doesn't work out religiously, but he keeps himself toned. He eats right, and he's a hard-working man. She said he has a little bit of gray, but he is still so very attractive that he's 59, but you think he could pass for 45. But she was telling me, how this man tosses me up and handles me in the bedroom. She said that it's some of the best intercourse and sex that she has had almost her whole life. I'm saying, even when you was younger, yes, because she said, also what does he do? We talking about an older man, 40 to 50 years old. He takes his time. He slow strokes her. Even when he orally satisfies her, he takes his time. Where she was saying she's 32 and she had been, dating younger guys like in their 20 or 30. They think it's a track meet. They think it's a race. You got to race, you got to win. How I'm trying to say this, the older man get down like it's a marathon, and he's trying, he takes his time and go slow, but the younger guy goes very fast, and she says that gets kind of annoying because, as women get older, I mean, even though they say this sex is overrated, I even know from younger women, 20, 30, 40, whatever, a woman will say she want to be made love to. Now, she might not mean that, but what I'm trying to get to is the point about James, and when it comes to Toya, she likes how he takes his time with everything. Orally, he takes his time. He slow strokes her. She said he is very gifted as far as he's elongate, so he's well endowed, and then his stamina is off the charts. She said he is 59 years old, but he has her legs shaking. They be done, and he be talking about, hey babe, you ready for round 2? And she be like, I'm done for now. I'm ready to go to sleep. But she tries to, go another round, but she says, this man is putting it on me like I have never had it put on me in my life. Stress and lifestyle. As of the women in their 40s and 50s, men also too have had their kids who they gonna have with their sexual partners, whether they're married or whatever. See, now their kids are grown now, and they done took that fatherhood role, and they basically done raised them because, a man 40 to 50, he really not trying to have no young babies. He either want to have, just like the women 40 to 50, possibly one of them is 18, if you have one, or if you have children, one of them is 18, and then maybe the next is 10 or 12. But what I'm trying to get to, it's been a spread out of years. They're getting adolescents to teenagers to grown up. So now, he done took care of his business of being a father. He done got them out the way for the kid. So now, that's a lot of stress-free on him. And he can sit back and now get back to his old ways. Again, they are very free willing and free spirit too. And I think that's why their sex be great at 40 and 50 years old, because they have a great job. Again, they're a homeowner. They have a nice car, maybe paid for, and they're looking to retire off their job. So see, finances and things like that stresses out people that mostly people have to worry about. They have that also taken care of. So now they'll just revert back to, I can sit back now and just figure out how I can get my groove on. You know how when the women do their thing, Stella has got her groove on. Well then, when a man in his 40 to 50s, then got all things, the challenges that had came up against him, and he done took care of that. And now he kind of had that behind him. Now Steve can get his groove on. So, they're looking to do their thing too. But, like I say, please don't underestimate it. People 40 to 50 years old, men and women, are some of the highly sexual active people that gets going on because they have a high sex drive. And please don't throw back at me talking about, well, I know they're full of male enhancements and all that. No, a lot of these people are just what I said. They are stress-free. They reduce the stress. They are financially equitable. They are financially equipped. Everything is going good now. And so, and they basically have taken care of themselves. That haven't been no heavy drug use or nothing like that. So now they can just channel all that energy on, getting their jollies on again. Getting down when they want to get down. So that's how it goes too. They have increased confidence to man. You know what I'm saying? They have a renewed sense of swagger and even a little bit of cockiness about themselves. Again, let me repeat that. Men have a renewed swagger and a little bit of cockiness about themselves. Much positive energy and dynamics. Diving off into a new relationship as a woman and it's unknown brings immediate excitement. See, when you're stress-free and then you go into something new and you trying to figure out one entity like the entity is trying to figure out you, that's fun. Because see, that's that positive energy that you want. We're both very healthy. We're both stable. We're here to just have some sexual fun, pleasures and desires. Again, I'm going to say this because this goes from ages 18 to 65 to 75. Always practice safe sex. Put them raincoats on. Put that prophylactic on. Put that rubber on. But as I was saying, they're at a point now where everything is smooth, and we all know great sex comes from not wearing. I have heard through word of mouth too that one time this young lady, and this is really one of my nephews, this young lady and one of my nephews, I call him my nephew, but he's really not my nephew, but he called me Unc. So many people called me Unc. But anyway, he said, Unc, listen, this woman was so attractive. I'm talking about God knows attractive. Body this, banging, a goddess, pretty hair, had that exotic look, was mixed and everything. But he was going through a lot of stress because of, I believe, he was put on child support or something like that. But anyway, I'm not trying to talk his business. He was just going through a lot of stress. He said, this woman got butt naked, and you know that my tire wouldn't even inflate. It wouldn't even inflate, and you know what his tire was. And it was going, it had tripped him out so much. She was saying like, well, what is it? Is it me? And he was like, nah, baby, it's not you. Because she said, man, if you would have seen this woman, you would have been aroused harder than a railroad nail. But he was so stressed out, and this was a younger guy, that he could not even get up to perform. So, again, women and men with a high sex drive in their 40s and 50s, they take care of themselves. They have got past a lot of the fatherhood and motherhood stages where they're still fathers and mothers, but they done raised the kids. A woman done had her babies. She done reared children, so she's past that stage. So now she's getting her body back to young, youthful, sexy, and attractive. A man that went through his little ordeal where he has had kids with his wife or whatever. He has raised the kids. Again, he is financially good. He is financially great. You know, about to retire around the corner. You know, doing good in stocks. Job is solid. So now, all they both are concentrating on or focusing on is their sexual desires and their sexual pleasures. Why do women and men have sex drive? Why do women and men sex drive is higher in their 40s and 50s? I tried to give you a few factors about it. I hope you guys like what I said. I'm just going on my knowledge that I know, and that's what's up. You got to realize, too, I fall in that category. I'm 50 plus myself, and I know, too, proper health, proper eating, less stress, don't have financial woes, and that pencil will get sharp. I'm telling you, that pencil will get sharp and stay full of lead. If you know what I mean, people. If you feel it. 2 pennies, 2 cents,